I'm going to show you how to cut up a chicken into any pieces that you may need. First, you're going to need your gloves, some kind of apron I've provided for you, knife, cutting board, a scrap spin, and your chicken in a bag. We're going to keep the bag and put the pieces that we will keep in the bag afterwards. So, to start, we'll open our bag up, move it to the side, and put our chicken on the cutting board. The first thing I like to do is grab the legs. I'll usually use my left hand here to grab both sides of the legs, and you can see this where the breastbone moves away from the legs there. We're going to take that knife and cut down diagonally across there. You can see right up until the spine here. At that point the knife doesn't like to go through that spinal bone, so I take my left hand and use my middle finger to push on the spine and crack it like that. You'll see it split right there. Now I can bring the knife through that portion and it comes away from the body here. I'm going to move this to the side and work just with the legs and the thighs quickly. First thing I'm going to do, using my middle fingers for pressure again, is find that hip joint and pop it out of the socket. You can see that bone coming through the meat right there. That's what you want to see. Take the knife and, keeping this spine cord away from that bone, drag the knife through there. Same thing for the other side, using your index or middle finger, move that bone out and take the knife through there. This part now is mainly bone, a little bit of meat. You could use that for soup later. Here we're going to take off some of the fat and then take the thighs away from the drumstick. Here you will feel a bit of a joint if you move it around. There's cartilage in between bone. What you want to do is get the knife right at that point and you will feel very smooth cutting. You will notice it didn't make a grinding noise. We're hitting just cartilage, not bone. Do that on both sides. So that we have two drumsticks and two thighs. We're going to keep those for later. That's what we're going to eat, so we're going to put that back in the bag. Moving back to the main body of the chicken, first thing we're going to do is take off the wings. So you can stretch the wing out and get the knife sort of underneath the armpit joint there. And if you come across at a diagonal, you'll see that as you split away, there's nothing holding it connected there. You can just pretty much go through cartilage. There's no bone to cut through there. Same thing on the other side. And move that across. Now to take care of these wings, same thing as the legs. Pretty much stretch that point out. There should be a cartilage there. A little bit of a snap, so maybe I hit a bit of bone, but this part, not very tasty. We get rid of that. This part, however, we generally have as wings, and you'll see I sort of cut that in a bit of a V shape, right that point, sweet spot to cut right through. Do that one more time on this side. That time I did a little bit better. You didn't hear that big snapping noise. And that side there. So there we've got pieces of wings, and we'll throw that in with our chicken. So here now we have bone-in breast with a little bit of spine still in it. What I'm going to show you how to do is do a boneless breast. So we're going to come from where the wing connected there, bring the knife across, and just sort of very gently, I want to follow this curve around the chicken. So I'm only using about that much of the blade to get into about the spine, and you'll see it sort of start to come away from the breastbone there. And you'll see that wishbone right there with a bit of a breastbone here. As you get to that point, you want to stop on this side, flip it around to the other side, and come a little bit around like this. Don't worry if you sort of hack it a little bit too much your first time, that's normal. You'll see that sinew coming through the fillet underneath the breast. And there we go, sort of carving away. That breastbone's going to stick out, so you're going to have to sort of curve into the bone just a little bit more at that point, and then right against the wishbone is where we want to be. We don't want to leave a lot of meat on there. So you'll see that it's sort of folding away now, maybe a little bit more there, away from the main bone. So generally we'll be able to take that and go right up the wishbone to that breastbone, and then just bring it sort of through like this. This part is now just all bone, a little bit of meat there, but like I say, this is the kind of thing you might want to chop up and throw in for soup. This part, if you have a little bit of this, you might want to just trim it out. That's just the edge of the breastbone. That's fine. It'll just be a bit of cartilage and you don't want to have that in your mouth. So there is now a boneless breast which you could stuff and then tie back up. Or if you're just interested in the breasts, you could slice it and take the skin off, and there's your boneless breasts, which you would cut up and use in whatever you'd like. So there we go. What we did there was go from a whole chicken to 2 drumsticks, 2 thighs, parts of wings, and a boneless breast. Taking off your gloves, bring your fingers underneath the collar like that, and slide it like this, leaving a little bit here so that you can get underneath this portion. Might need to use your finger just a bit to cheat, and basically bring that part, yeah, this part's tricky, underneath like that. In that way you're not touching anything that we just got on our gloves. Now you can take the inside of the glove and pull them off.